He said puppy love would affect his chances of getting into Tsinghua years later. He stood before me at Tsinghua graduate, aloof and elegant. But I didn't dare look up at him, because I was selling sweet potatoes. How much? 5 pounds. I kept my head down, gesturing towards the QR code on the roasting drum, indicating he could scan it to pay. The man's pale fingers held the cheap plastic bag containing the sweet potato, standing out sharply. He seemed to glance down at me suspiciously. The probing look in his eyes made me intensely awkward, forcing me to lower my head even further. Please don't let him recognize me. Who would have thought such a dramatic scene could happen in real life 6 years later? I ran into my old crush Ethan Knight. He was still as strikingly handsome and reserved as ever, shedding the greenness of youth. He now carried himself with the dignified elegance of a man exuding a steady, almost ascetic charm. Just like in our younger days, he could still stir my heart in an instant. Boss, transferred. Ethan's detached voice came calmly. He withdrew his scrutinizing gaze, then, without a backward glance, followed his waiting colleagues into the global top 500 enterprise building opposite. As they left, I could hear their playful banter. That sweet potato seller was quite partial to you, Boss Knight. Why's yours so big for a $5? Fancy a swap. Ha, better not. What if she gave it to you specially? I wouldn't want to steal your admirer. Don't joke around. Could you even snatch Boss Knight's admirers? The girls who fancy Boss Knight wouldn't look twice at you. Ugh, I'll tear your mouth shut. Only when their playful voices faded completely did I dare look up, stealing a glance at his tall, straight-backed figure disappearing into the crowd. Relief washed over me, mixed with a tinge of bitterness. He'd truly forgotten me, of course. I was just one among the many who had pursued him, although he had once seriously listened to my bold declaration. You'll only date after getting into Tsinghua. Well, I'll take the exam too. Ethan and I had been classmates since primary school. He was exceptional, the definition of that child from another family praised by parents and teachers. But to a mischievous underachiever like me, he just seemed like a bookworm obsessed with studying. Otherwise, how could he not recognize me? Even after I followed him from primary school to secondary school, and then, exerting immense effort, barely scraped into the same prestigious high school, remaining his classmate all along? The first time Ethan actually learned my name was in high school, after I became the class hygiene monitor. That day, following the trend, I shyly slipped my first pink love letter into his desk, imitating the other girls. Unfortunately, he returned from basketball and saw me, asking coldly what I was doing. Caught red-handed, my face burned with mortification. My mind went blank, and I blurted out, using my monitor status as a righteous cover, "Classmate Kiao, your desk is overflowing with rubbish. It's spilling onto the floor. I was thinking of cleaning it for you." He seemed surprised that his desk had been filled with messy love letters again in a short time. He was playing basketball. His handsome brows furrowed. Yes, I swear, it really was just that short a time after all. Ethan was a recognized school heartthrob and top student. The number of girls who liked him was simply innumerable. I remember the most common saying circulating in school back then. Who wouldn't love Ethan Knight? Good looks, money, and a high IQ. I'd been infatuated with him since childhood. Back to the story later. He thanked me for helping him clear out that rubbish. Tearfully smiling, I impartially and incorruptibly gathered all the letters from my sisters and my own and tossed them into the bin. After that incident, I nearly became a sworn enemy of the girls in school and was ostracized by all the girls in class. Who found out? When Ethan learned about this, out of guilt, he offered to buy me bubble tea. A heaven-sent opportunity. How could I not seize the chance to be alone with him? But I never expected he'd treat the entire class to bubble tea in my name. Although I regretted missing our chance to be alone, I was deeply moved by this seemingly cold, but warm-hearted and thoughtful boy. After that, I realized he wasn't as unapproachable as he seemed. Relying on my thick skin, I found opportunities every day to strike up conversations with him. Back and forth, I became familiar with him. Even the only girl in the whole school on good terms with him. So much so that at 16, perhaps my brain short-circuited, and I asked him if he wanted to be in a relationship. He looked at me seriously for a moment, then said apologetically, "Sophia, wisdom. Puppy love will affect my chances of getting into Tsinghua. Any sensible girl would understand." That was a gentle rejection, but in my youthful audacity, I naturally replied, "You'll only date after getting into Tsinghua? Well, I'll take the exam too." Then, I saw a faint smile curl on his young lips. It was mesmerizing, like the moon in the sky, utterly intoxicating. In the end, as if bewitched for 3 years of high school, I set aside romantic feelings that would affect my Tsinghua chances, and buried myself in practice problems and books with Ethan. Back then, I truly made getting into Tsinghua my life's most important goal. Besides the potential of dating Ethan afterwards, there was an even bigger reason motivating me. Ethan said that on the day the Gaokao ended, he had a secret to tell me. But on Gaokao day, I stood him up. After packing out the stall, I pushed the roasting drum for nearly half an hour before getting home. Pushing open the old wooden door, I saw my mom lying in bed, her leg in a plaster cast, fanning herself with a hand fan. Seeing me back, she was surprised. "Finished so early today? Normally you're out until 3 or 4 in the afternoon." Yes, the sweet potato stall was my mom's a few days ago. She injured her leg and had difficulty moving. So I took over. I forced a faint smile. I was just worried about you being home alone. My mom frowned, thinking I was being reckless, coming home before selling all the sweet potatoes. Given her nature, she would usually scold me. I braced myself, but surprisingly, instead of her usual sternness, she warmly beckoned me over. Sophia, the matchmaker, had good news today. A man with decent conditions saw your photo and wants to meet you tomorrow at a coffee shop. Here we go again. Over the years, she'd been setting me up with one blind date after another. Before, I would numbly go along, but perhaps because I'd seen Ethan today, my numb heart felt restless and unsettled. I didn't want to go. Mom, I'm only 24, not 34. Can you stop rushing me to get married? Her smiling face instantly fell. Sophia, you know you're 24. Your cousin married into a wealthy family at 21 and had a son. Now, her whole family is living comfortably. Look at you. I don't expect you to be as successful as your cousin and marry rich, but you should at least settle your future soon. Stop fiddling with that computer all day, drawing those strange clothes. Nothing ever comes of it. Hearing her yell, I couldn't help defending myself. I'm not just fiddling, I'm creating. I'm designing clothes. Before I could finish, she snorted coldly. Design? Sounds fancy. Have you made any money from it? My face flushed red instantly. I had no retort. The struggles and poverty of recent years had nearly crushed me into the dust, but I held my ground anyway. I'm not going on the blind date. Don't worry about my business. You wretched girl. What attitude is that? Can't a mother care about her daughter's future? She started crying deliberately, slapping her injured leg and wailing, if you think I'm a burden, just say so. Fine. I might as well die. My fate is so bitter. Your father? He alright? Alright. Stop hitting it. I'll go, okay? Amidst her cries and threats, I finally, wearily, agreed to the blind date. It felt like a surrender, a resignation to my own hopeless fate. But I never expected to run into Ethan again at the coffee shop. The blind date was a programmer in his 30s. While average looking, I heard his family circumstances were good, and his salary was stable. My mom urged me to seize this rare opportunity, but upon meeting him, I found his personality somewhat odd. Hello, are you Mr. Liu? The man was nearly bald. His small eyes scanned me up and down like I was merchandise before he showed a satisfied smile. That's me. Please, Miss Wisdom, have a seat. Enduring the discomfort from his brazen stare, I politely sat down. My intention wasn't to date, so I hoped to clarify things immediately. But before I could speak, he spoke first. The matchwoman probably told you about my family. My parents are elderly, so after marriage, I expect you to live with them, take care of me, and also manage their daily needs, and my monthly salary is 20,000. More than enough to support you, so no need for you to work hard. Just stay home and look after the elderly. I'll give you 1,000 a month for living expenses. Another thing, my family hopes you'll need to have a son first before we can register the marriage. He looked at me again and smiled. Of course, if you're unlucky and have a daughter first. It's fine, we can just keep trying until we have a son. I could register the marriage with you before then, since I heard you're quite eager to marry. He rambled on and on, not giving me a single gap to interject. It was as if his family had a throne to inherit, and he needed to make everything crystal clear to me, his potential consort. After nearly 20 minutes of his monologue, he finally remembered to ask my opinion, right? That's all I have to say. Anyway, I'm quite impressed with you. I don't know what Miss Wisdom thinks of me. I maintained a polite smile. I think you're quite humorous. You share half a resemblance with Shakespeare. His interest was piqued. He looked pleased, as if thinking I had good taste. Oh? Which half? I parted my lips, the bipart silence. Before Mr. Liu could react, a soft, muffled chuckle came from behind me. It was low, pleasant, and terribly familiar. I froze, instinctively turning to look. Ethan from the table behind was leaning his chin on his hand, openly watching us. A slight smile played on his lips like the moon in the sky. The blind date's furious roar erupted. I didn't turn around, but I saw the smiling Ethan suddenly frown, stride forward in a flash, and pull me aside. The spot where I had been standing a second before was now splashed with hot coffee. You bitch. How dare you? Having understood the insult, the man, in a fit of rage, had thrown his coffee and smashed the cup. If Ethan hadn't reacted so quickly, the shattered pieces would have certainly injured my back. I hadn't expected such low behavior. Furious, I opened my mouth to retort, but Ethan's cold voice was faster. Apologize now. He stood in front of me, a solid shield. His tone icy and authoritative. A distant memory flashed in my mind. 1 year after school, I was surrounded by bullies demanding protection money. Nearly getting bullied when Ethan appeared out of nowhere. Just like now, shielding me. He looked like a mere scholar, but his moves were swift and fierce. He single-handedly took down the whole group of bullies. Afterwards, he crouched down, looked at my terrified, dazed self, rummaged in his backpack, and pulled out my favorite lollipop. As if coaxing a child, his tone was careful, even awkward, like it was his first time comforting someone. Don't be scared. Little Sophia. Here, have a sweet? It seemed from that moment, I was no longer just drawn to his looks. My heart completely succumbed to his protectiveness. Who the hell are you? This is between me and her. None of your business. Though intimidated by Ethan's cold aura, the blind date still yelled defiantly, "Her business is my business." Ethan's cold, clear voice rang out, firm and resonant, like a stone thrown into the calm lake of my heart, sending turbulent waves crashing. My head shot up to look at him, urgently wanting to know what he meant. Had he recognized me? But standing behind him, I couldn't see his expression, only his unwavering, protective stance. "Ah, I see." The man's gaze swept between Ethan and me. Bullying the weak but fearing the strong, he redirected his anger at me. "Sophia, you have a boyfriend and still come out on blind dates? You're playing me." My temper flared, ignoring his nonsense. I retorted coldly, "Sir, you do realize this is a blind date? It seems to me you don't need a wife, but a maid. Perhaps you should try a domestic service agency. Of course, with a monthly salary of 1,000, I doubt any maid would consider your conditions acceptable." "You?" He was so angry he seemed ready to hit me. But Ethan, taller and stronger, pinned his arm against the table, making him yelp in pain. "Call the police." Ethan seemed to be speaking to someone. I was puzzled, but the next second, a waiter quickly pulled out his phone and responded, "Right away, boss." "So, this coffee shop belonged to Ethan. So." He stood up for me not because he recognized me, but because he couldn't allow a scene in his establishment. The excitement and tension I felt moments ago, thinking he might have recognized me, vanished. I smiled bitterly. "Don't be silly, Sophia, 6 years have passed. How could he remember a mere Sophia from back then? Besides, one who stood him up. And with the police mediating, the blind date reluctantly apologized to me. Finally, since he had broken a coffee cup, Ethan demanded 20,000 in compensation. The man nearly jumped. "Are you kidding? What cup costs 20 grand? Ethan didn't argue, signaling a staff member to bring out the purchase invoice. One look, and it was a shock. A single coffee cup from the shop genuinely cost 20,000. The man was dumbfounded. "Are you insane, buying such expensive cups for customers?" The staff member embodying the shop's financial prowess retorted coldly, "Sir, our boss has taste. Fine coffee deserves fine cups. That's all." Any other questions? Under the staff's sarcasm, the man had no choice but to reluctantly pay up a month's salary as he left resentfully. Ethan stopped him. "Sir, don't project your limited worldview onto others. You think 20,000 can support a large family, but for some, it's just the cost of a broken cup." This was practically saying, with your 20,000 a month salary, you should work harder before boasting in public. The man swallowed the humiliation and left without looking back. The staff comforted other customers. Ethan politely thanked the police officers. In the entire coffee shop, I was the only one left standing rigidly. I thought about leaving, but felt I should at least properly thank Ethan for his help. So I waited quietly. A few minutes later, after seeing the officers out, Ethan turned back. His eyes seemed to hold a hint of a smile, sparkling like starlight. He walked towards me, as if surrounded by a halo, radiant. I tightened my grip on my cheap bag and took a step back. Lowering my gaze, I said, "Sir, thank you for today." My tone suggested complete unfamiliarity. His steps halted abruptly. Instantly, I felt a cold gaze piercing through me. "You're welcome, miss." His reply was frosty. The awkward atmosphere was unbearable. I gave an embarrassed smile and prepared to make a quick escape. However, as I brushed past Ethan, he suddenly reached out and grabbed my wrist. The sudden move startled me. The intense heat from his broad palm seemed to burn through my sleeve, scalding my skin, traveling along my nerves, and searing my entire heart. I instinctively tensed. Every nerve. "You." 10 minutes later, I was in Ethan's private office. He pressed me onto the sofa, condescended to crouch down and examine the injury on my foot. It was only then I realized with shock that I had sprained my ankle when Ethan pulled me earlier. "Your foot is this swollen, and you don't feel any pain?" Ethan frowned. Was it my imagination? Or did I see a flicker of heartache in his eyes? I forced a smile. "It's fine, I'm tough. It'll probably go down on its own soon." Ethan gave me a look of disbelief. "Not acceptable. I likely caused this injury, so I'm responsible." Not allowing me to refuse, he fetched some medicated oil. Awkward and unsure what to do, I treated the foot he was firmly holding as a prosthetic, not moving a muscle. His fingertips were gentle, kneading my swollen ankle with a steady, soothing pressure. I sat stiffly, restless and uncomfortable. "Ethan." He spoke softly, suddenly looking up, his eyes locking directly with mine. "My name is Ethan Knight." I stared into his beautiful eyes, stunned for a few seconds. A sour, swelling sensation built behind my eyes. This was the man who had occupied most of my youthful adoration. Now he was right in front of me. Yet I didn't even dare to greet him casually. I didn't dare remind him we were old classmates. I was afraid he wouldn't remember me, and even more afraid that he did remember me, and would question me about standing him up 6 years ago. Like a turtle, I chose to retreat into my shell, forcing a smile. "Hello, I'm Sophia Wisdom." Perhaps my smile was strained because Ethan glanced at me, his expression darkening. I thought he probably disliked me quite a bit. After all, I came to his shop for a blind date, and because of me, the police got involved. Who knows if it affected his business? After the medicated oil was applied, I thanked him again and got up to leave. "Sophia Wisdom." Suddenly, Ethan called me again, just like in our youth, using my full name, his voice unbearably pleasant. For a moment, I felt he must remember me. My halted steps rose. But I didn't dare turn around. Are you in a hurry to get married? Are you in a hurry to get married? When the man behind me asked this, I was stunned for a long moment before turning to look at him in confusion. Ethan put the medicated oil back in its place, his tone casual. I heard that man say you were eager to marry. I didn't know how to answer. The one in a hurry was my mom, not me. But Ethan didn't seem to need my answer. His next words came quickly, nearly shocking me out of my wits. Coincidentally, I am in need of a wife. If you are in a hurry, perhaps we could give it a try. When he said give it a try, he looked up at me, his expression still nonchalant, as if suggesting we try a new dish, not a marriage. My shock burst out. Have you gone mad? Ethan's brow furrowed slightly, his gaze intense. Flustered, I found it utterly absurd. We've only just met, and you want to marry me? Ethan's lips curved into a faint, cool smile. Just met? So what? If I'm not mistaken, Miss Wisdom, wasn't that your first time meeting that man as well? It's the same blind date setup. How is it acceptable with another man? But when it's me, you react so strongly and resist. What? Am I not good enough for you? Was it my imagination? Or was there a trace of indistinguishable grievance in his aggressive tone? I was speechless. You're different. You are the moon in the sky, pure and unblemished. How can you be compared to that sort of person? I licked my dry lips. Mr. Knight, actually, I don't plan to marry just anyone. My mom arranged the blind date. I was just going through the motions for her sake. I thought my explanation was clear. But who knew Ethan would stun me again? Family pressure. Good. I'm in the same situation. Perhaps we can cooperate. Use each other to fend off the urging from our families. So, that was his reason. And I liked Ethan. I was crazily, madly in love with him. God knows when he proposed marriage, besides disbelief and shock, there was an indescribable, secret thrill. Marrying him was a beautiful dream, even if it was just a contract. But I still refused. I was afraid that spending one more second with him, my overwhelming feelings would spill out. How could I bear the end of our contract agreement? Ethan didn't say anything more, watching me coldly as I limped away. He was a proud man. Some things said twice wouldn't be said a third time. The piercing coldness of his gaze made my steps unsteady. Just as I was about to leave his restroom, my mom's phone call came through frantically, startled. I hurriedly tried to reject it, but in my panic, accidentally hit the answer button. Sophia, have you grown wings just now? William called and cursed me out. He said you have a boyfriend and still went on a blind date? A boyfriend? Are you trying to trick me? William has such good conditions. And you still look down on him. I'll have you know, Sophia, I apologized profusely, and he barely agreed to marry you. Come home right now. We'll buy some gifts and visit his family. You'll get the marriage certificate tomorrow. It wasn't on speaker, but my mom's yelling was so loud every word was clearly audible without putting the phone to my ear. Instantly, utter humiliation washed over me. I didn't dare look back at Ethan. I quickly raised the phone. Trying to leave, Mum. I won't marry him. Before I could finish, a long, slender hand suddenly snatched my phone. A weight on my eyes widened in shock. Ethan gave me a faint glance and was already speaking to my mum. Auntie, Sophia wasn't lying to you. She just had a boyfriend. Yes, it's me. Ethan hung up and handed the phone back to my utterly bewildered self. My mind was in a daze. I was on the verge of tears. Why did you say those things to my mum? Would you rather be forced to marry that man from earlier? Ethan raised an eyebrow, looking down at me. I shook my head with sincere horror. Perhaps my thick hair reminded him of an animal, because he very naturally reached out and ruffled it twice. I flinched, stepping back quickly, my heart racing uncontrollably. I stared at him wide-eyed, trying to mask my panic. He looked at his hand, his expression innocent. Sorry, looking at your head just now reminded me of my dog at home. The one who never tells the truth. Me? Your dog can talk? Fine. You're handsome. You're my secret crush. You're right. No matter what. Perhaps my stunned, deer in headlights expression amused Ethan because he suddenly smiled, seeming in a better mood. Now, your mom believes I'm your boyfriend. She won't force you to marry that man for now. So, Miss Wisdom, can we continue discussing our contract? 6 years later, who would have thought the once clear and stubborn Ethan would learn the tactic of presenting a fait accompli? He just told my mom he was my boyfriend. If I refused to contract now, how would I explain it to her? Finally, I stiffly nodded my head slightly. A flicker of triumph seemed to pass through the man's eyes, but I missed it. My head bowed. At my mom's repeated insistence, I had to awkwardly bring Ethan home. My mom had even tittied herself up, leaning on her crutch, waiting eagerly by the door. When she saw me get out of Ethan's BMW, and then saw him carrying bags of gifts, her smile nearly reached the back of her head. She called him son-in-law affectionately, over and over. I was utterly embarrassed, afraid Ethan would despise her obsequiousness. I quietly reminded her to tone it down. Mum, boyfriend, he's just my boyfriend. But who would have thought? She brushed me off. Go away. Then, turning back, she warmly addressed Ethan again. I say, son-in-law, you shouldn't have brought so many things. It's too extravagant. I have to say, Ethan's manners had always been impeccable, even from a young age. He acted as if he didn't see the calculating, almost wolfish look in her eyes, still smiling politely and respectfully. It's the least I could do. I should have visited sooner, but Sophia always said the timing wasn't right, so it got delayed until now. Oh. So the Ethan of 6 years later could lie without batting an eye. My mom cooked a table full of delicious food in high spirits, beaming as she entertained Ethan. Ethan also behaved impeccably. The two chatted, seemingly forgetting about me. The silent rice seeding machine. Ethan, Sophia is my only daughter. I am usually strict and harsh with her, but it's only because I worry about her future. As she spoke, my mom's eyes reddened. She took Ethan's hand, wiping away tears. Auntie can see you're truly a good one. I hope you can take good care of our Sophia. This child has had a hard life. It's her father and I who let her down. The year she took the Gaokao, Mom. I sharply interrupted her heartfelt speech, my voice raised, and my smile was pale. The soup was getting cold. Let's have some soup. Ethan glanced at me. I lowered my head, silently eating my rice, my eyes reddening. And after the meal, my mom told me to see Ethan out. It was late at night, under the warm yellow streetlights. I walked behind him with my head down, not noticing when he stopped. I bumped squarely into his hard back, grimacing in pain. I'd often read online descriptions of men's physiques being like a wall of bronze. I thought it was an exaggeration, but bumping into him, it really was hard. A sigh sounded above me. Ethan looked at me, massaging my forehead with an expression of utter exasperation. It seems I need to get you some medicated oil. All right. He was mocking me for being so injury-prone. Rubbing my head, I stubbornly insisted I was fine and didn't need it. Well, I'll see you off here. Oh, let's exchange WeChat. I'll transfer the money for the supplements to you. Those supplements were things Ethan insisted on buying. I couldn't stop him. So I silently noted down all the prices, planning to pay him back. After all, this was all fake. Ethan frowned slightly but still took out his phone. I scanned his QR code, but he didn't accept the request immediately. So I couldn't transfer the money right away. Your mom mentioned something about your high school years earlier. What happened? He asked softly, as if just casually curious why I had interrupted her. I paused, then smiled dismissively. It's nothing. My mom just likes to tell everyone I didn't take the Gaokao. I find it embarrassing. So I didn't want her blabbering. But it's the truth. Never need to hide it. If you want to know, I'll tell you. I smiled, my tone light and casual. But I couldn't bring myself to look him in the eye. Why didn't you take it? Wasn't it important to you under the cold moonlight? His voice held a subtle tension. I turned away, staring at the ground. Yeah, I just didn't want to continue studying. Nothing important, really? At 16, I shamelessly followed him, vowing to get into Tsinghua for him. 6 years later, I was lazy and indifferent, telling him I didn't want to study. Sometimes, the turns of fate made me unsure whether to laugh or cry. Reuniting now felt more cruel than joyful. Ethan didn't contact me for the next few days. He didn't mention the supposed plan for me to meet his parents and ward off their urging. The transfer I sent him remained unaccepted, eventually refunded automatically. I thought perhaps after I said I didn't want to study that night, he decided I was a hopeless case and didn't want to bother anymore. Having been in society for years, I understood people's fickleness. So, I kept to myself and didn't disturb him. Even when my mom repeatedly urged me to bring Ethan over again, I found every excuse to put it off. Finally, tired of the nagging, I told her, Ethan and I broke up. Don't mention him anymore. My mom couldn't believe her nearly caught prize son-in-law had flown away. Broke up? Why? What happened? I lowered my gaze. Nothing. Maybe our worldviews didn't match. We broke up amicably. After all, we truly were from two different worlds. Sophia, Ethan's conditions are so good. How could you not hold on tight? Who cares about worldviews? I don't believe it. With your looks. How could he just let you go? My mom poked my head, scolding me for being useless. Then, without another word, she dragged me out of the house. Her foot was mostly healed. She walked briskly, faster than me, a young person, when she dragged me to Ethan's company. I had a bad feeling. I didn't even stop to think about how she knew he worked here. It was lunchtime. Employees were streaming back from outside, looking curiously at us, so out of place. I tried to pull my mom away, but she forcefully dragged me to the reception desk. Her voice was loud. Is there someone named Ethan working here? The receptionist was startled by her aggressive demeanor. Ma'am, how can I help you? My mom shouted, I'm looking for Ethan. He can't just abandon my daughter. The word abandon instantly attracted more onlookers. Pointing and whispering, my face burned crimson. I tried desperately to pull my mom away. My voice grew urgent. Mom, let's go home and talk. Stop making a scene. I pulled with all my might. But my mom, impatient, suddenly swung her hand and slapped me hard across the face. The sound echoed in the bright lobby. In front of everyone, my cheek instantly reddened and swelled. What scene? I'm here to reason. Last time Ethan came, he talked about marriage. How can he go back on his word and break up with you? My mom ranted on and on. In that moment, I felt like a piece of merchandise once someone was willing to take me. She wouldn't allow a return. Forceful and shrewish, the humiliation was unbearable. Covering my cheek, my eyes reddened with anger and hurt. Boss Knight, you're here, someone exclaimed. Everyone looked behind me. My body went rigid. 6 years later, It seemed every time I saw Ethan again, I was in an embarrassing situation. First, sweating over a hot sweet potato drum. Second, humiliated by a terrible blind date. This time, worst up, my mom dragged me to his workplace to make a scene. I stood frozen, shame and helplessness threatening to suffocate me. I even regretted that day. Why did I have to be greedy for the air conditioning outside his company, shamelessly squatting there selling sweet potatoes? If I had known the reunion would lead to such humiliation, I would have preferred never to have seen Ethan that day. Someone approached from the side. A faint scent of sandal would arrive. The man's voice was clear and pleasant. What's going on? It was Ethan. He frowned, looked at the injury on my face, then at my mom. Boss Knight, you're here. This lady is looking for you, saying something about you abandoning her daughter. The receptionist's tone was clearly exasperated. They might be causing trouble. I'll have security escort them out. How dare you speak like that, young lady? This is my son-in-law. What do you mean escort out? Watch your mouth. My mom immediately started yelling. Then, she turned to Ethan with fawning warmth. Right, son-in-law. Her ugly desperation drew scornful looks from everyone. Someone even shouted, where did these random people come from? Trying to damage Boss Knight's reputation? Auntie, are you still dreaming? Right? Don't think just because your daughter is somewhat pretty, you can latch on to Boss Knight. Know your place. Boss Knight is set to inherit the company. How could he be your son-in-law? Besides, Boss Knight has a girlfriend. He and the young group heirs were university classmates. They're a perfect match from similar backgrounds. They're getting engaged next month. Didn't you check the news before trying this? Amid the endless chatter, a few disdainful voices were particularly sharp. Like fine, dense needles, they pierced deeply into my heart. It hurt, bleeding profusely. So, he already had a girlfriend, so? He was getting engaged, then why did he have to involve me? Talk about some contract. My heart ached terribly. The lobby's air conditioning chilled me to the bone, making me shiver uncontrollably. Through tear-blurred vision, I saw Ethan seemingly walking towards me. I couldn't see his expression clearly, only feeling that the person who was right beside me seemed to take an eternity to cover the short distance, just like the chasm between us, forever insurmountable. I closed my eyes, swallowing my tears, as my mom was about to lunge into the crowd for a fight. I suddenly reached out and stopped her unreasonable action. Hoarsely, I apologized to everyone. I'm sorry, I apologize for disturbing everyone. My mom misunderstood something and came here talking nonsense. I and your Boss Knight have no relationship whatsoever. As my words fell, the mist in my eyes gradually cleared. I finally saw Ethan's expression. He had stopped walking. His handsome face was shadowed with restrained gloom, his gaze cold as he stared at me. I thought he must be very angry. No one liked having their private life disrupted at work, especially in such a humiliating way by my mom. Bowing my head to him in apology again, I embarrassedly dragged my still screaming and shouting mom away quickly. TCH. A light laugh sounded abruptly behind me. Sophia, you're still the same. 6 years ago, you disappeared without a word. 6 years later, you still plan to leave heartlessly like this, is that it? The man's voice was filled with endless sarcasm and self-mockery. He said, in your eyes are promises always just empty words. My limbs felt as if they were instantly filled with lead, too heavy to lift. The tears in my eyes, as if a switch was flipped, became uncontrollable. My heart felt wrung and aching. I had always known he remembered me. I don't know how I walked out of his company that day. I just remember crying the whole way. My usually fierce and unreasonable mom was so startled she stopped causing a scene and followed me closely. As she followed, she scolded me. Cry, cry, cry. If you're so useless, it feels so wrong. Why did you clarify things with that guy earlier? Weren't you capable? Weren't you spirited, you? She grew louder, venting her dissatisfaction at losing her prized son-in-law. I couldn't take it anymore. On the verge of a breakdown. Mom, have you said enough? Are you satisfied with this outcome? Did you have to cause a scene at his company? If not for your unreasonable and making trouble, things wouldn't have turned out like this. Don't you know? Don't you know? I could have gracefully exited Ethan's world. I could have remained ignorant, not knowing he had a girlfriend in university, not knowing he was about to get engaged, knowing nothing and thus not bearing so much heartache and bitterness. But now, this carefully guarded deep affection made me feel like a clown. He was getting engaged, yet he still sought me out. I didn't dare think if this reunion after 6 years was his revenge. He hated me for playing him 6 years ago. I crouched on the ground, crying in despair and sorrow. That night, I had a dream. In the dream, under the blazing sun, I boarded a bus full of ambition, heading to take the Gaokao. After months of intense cramming, I was confident about Tsinghua. Just like my confidence in Ethan, I was sure we would be together. But it seemed fate was playing a cruel joke on me. Just before I entered the exam hall, a neighbor aunt found me in a panic. Her voice distraught. Sophia, bad news, your father was in a car accident. He's in the hospital. Not going to make it. In that moment, my head buzzed. I don't remember how I followed the neighbor aunt to the hospital. I only saw my mom sitting on a cold bench outside the operating room, crying her heart out. The light above the operating room was blindingly bright. My father had been in a car accident. There were no traffic lights on that road. He was carefully crossing, paying attention to the traffic, when an elderly driver suffering a sudden cerebral hemorrhage, crashed into him. The driver, not wearing a seatbelt, died at the scene. My father was severely injured. Both legs crushed on the spot, but he clung to life and was rushed to the hospital. They all said my father was hanging on, refusing to let go, because he had something to say to us, his wife and daughter. But in the end, after my mom and I kept vigil at the hospital for 5 days, he never opened his eyes to say another word to us. The night my father passed, thunder and lightning raged, just like the tear and despair sounds of our crying. That night, I went mad, fleeing the hospital, refusing to accept the truth of my father's death. Stumbling and staggering, I ran to our school, usually filled with laughter, and saw a young man waiting in the rain. I suddenly remembered my promise with Ethan. I opened my mouth to call him, but just then, a car pulled up beside him. A beautiful woman got out, with distress hugged him and cried, "Stop waiting, Ethan. Come home with Mum. That girl isn't coming." In the pouring rain, I heard his sarcastic voice, "Mum, Sophia is a liar. I hate her." Later, I watched him get into the expensive car and disappear from my sight. That night, I lost the father who loved me most and the young man I loved most. Dreams and fantasies vanish. Those living in the real world must carry on. When I woke up, my mom was sitting by my bed, looking haggard. Seeing me awake, she seemed to hesitate, but ultimately said nothing, got up, and brought me a bowl of sweet potato porridge. I pursed my lips and took it. The porridge was still warm. It must have been kept hot, waiting for me to wake up and eat. My heart clenched. A flood of complex emotions overwhelmed me. Soon, there was noise in the room. Satisfied I was okay, she went to push the sweet potato drum, ready to go out and do business. Just as her figure was about to disappear, I choked out, "Mom, I'm sorry. I spoke too harshly yesterday. Please don't take it to heart." Over the years, although my mom was overbearing and often scolded me, she was also the only relative who, grumbling all the while, stayed by my bedside when I was sick. And yesterday, my words must have hurt her. My mom paused for a second. She didn't turn around. "Mom knows you hate me. Think I've been pushing you all these years. But Sophia, with her family situation, I just want you to marry soon, so you don't waste your youth." After saying this, she pushed the heavy drum out of the house with effort. Tears welling in my eyes, I gripped the warm bowl of porridge tightly, as if holding on to the only warmth I had left in this world. I only had my mom now. After my dad passed, the family was left with a pile of medical debt. Over the years, my mom and I worked hard to pay it off. I really didn't have the luxury of time to wallow in self-pity over my lost love. Nor did I have the right. My mom took back the sweet potato stall. I was actively submitting job applications and looking for work. It seemed everything had returned to how it was before I met Ethan again, a life of hard work and ordinariness. Then, one day, good news came. A company was interested in my clothing design sketches and wanted to hire me, even waiving the interview. Fashion designer had always been my dream. When I saw the invitation email, I immediately showed my mom, feeling excited and thrilled. My mom always thought my sketching was pointless, but seeing the invitation, she was even more excited than I was. "How much is the monthly salary?" "It doesn't say here." Maybe my mindset had changed. I didn't find her question crass. She just wanted good terms for me. "Mom, it's a big company. The salary should be decent. I'll discuss it when I go to the company. Then tell you." So, the next day, I found my most presentable outfit and went to the company to report. The HR manager was friendly and patiently explained the salary and benefits. The conditions were quite good. Finally, both parties signed the contract happily. I was officially employed. Before going to my post, the manager suddenly smiled and said, "To be honest, with your qualifications, it's unlikely you'd enter a big company like ours. But you're lucky, our director really likes your design style." So, I had met a benefactor later. I was invited to the director's office. The director was a young, beautiful woman, wearing a well-fitted blazer, looking capable yet feminine with beautiful, wavy hair. Her entire being exuded the charm of a successful, intellectual urban woman. Seeing me, she smiled warmly. "You're the one who submitted the designs, Sophia?" Anyone would feel goodwill towards such a woman. I was no exception. Quickly expressing my gratitude, "Director, hello, I'm Sophia Wisdom. The HR manager mentioned you gave me this opportunity." "Oh, no need for formalities. I've seen your resume. I'm only half a year older than you. That your formal address makes me feel old. I'm Lillian Young, just call me Lillian." She laughed, seeming to find me agreeable, and gestured for me to sit and chat. "So, Sophia, I've seen your design style. I really like its liveliness and romantic feel. Hiring you was partly for personal reasons." Suddenly, she seemed a bit embarrassed, her cheeks slightly red, but she maintained her professional composure. I was taken aback. Seeing her slightly girlish demeanor, I understood something. Most of my design sketches were wedding dresses. In my youth, I always dreamed of marrying Ethan, so I started creating various beautiful, dreamy wedding gowns, hoping to wear one someday. Now, that fantasy had become a delusion, utterly impossible. But having someone appreciate my work, letting other brides wear dresses I designed, was also a beautiful thing. Sure enough, Lillian continued, "Sophia, I'm getting engaged next month. Our company has designed a few engagement dresses, but I'm not satisfied with any, so I'm hoping you can design a wedding dress that satisfies me within a week." The timeline was indeed tight, But this was my first task. I had to give it my all. I nodded seriously. Don't worry. Lillian, I'll do my best. Lillian was pleased but said, no need for too much pressure. Relax. I believe in your design style. For a designer, the first step is communicating with a client, understanding their preferences and desires to create something they'll love. So, after settling this, I needed to learn more about Lillian's taste before starting the design. Lillian suddenly checked her watch and said cheerfully, how about this, Sophia? My fiancé is picking me up for dinner later. Join us, and we can chat over the meal. Her fiancé was picking her up for a romantic dinner. Me tagging along was inappropriate, but Lillian insisted warmly, not allowing me to refuse. Then she went to the restroom to change into casual clothes, shedding her professional style. She now wore a chic little black dress, showing the youthful charm of a girl her age. Before, her aura had been too businesslike. I thought Lillian must love her fiancé very much, to deliberately soften her strong professional demeanor before a date. I genuinely blessed this girl, and was determined to design a satisfactory wedding dress for her. But I never, ever expected her fiancé to be Ethan. How small is the world? So small that, by such a coincidence, I ended up working for Ethan's fiancé's company. The surname Young engagement next month, these two key points, I hadn't connected them. And now, it led to this awkward situation. When the man, tall and poised, appeared at the director's office door, the air around me instantly felt thin and suffocating. He noticed me immediately, frowned slightly, and stared at me coldly, as if looking at a stranger. I, pale and at a loss, wished I could drill into a hole and hide. Ethan, why did you come up? I said I'd be right down. The only one acting normal was probably Lillian. She seemed completely unaware of the complex undercurrents between Ethan and me. Happily rushing over and warmly linking arms with him. Noticing Ethan's gaze on me, she smiled and introduced. Let me introduce you, this is our new employee, Sophia Wisdom. I want her to design my engagement dress. She'll join us for dinner later. Sophia, this is my fiancé, Ethan Knight. Lillian introduced us naturally. But I found the scene awkward and bizarre, causing me to miss the flicker of something indecipherable in Ethan's eyes. I stammered, hello, Knight. Ethan stared coldly at me for a moment, his lips quirking slightly. Suddenly, he extended his hand, cold and distant. Hello, Miss Wisdom. I hesitated, then reached out. But the next second, he abruptly withdrew his hand, leaving mine hanging awkwardly in the air. Lillian was perceptive. She glanced at Ethan. You seem a bit off today. Something wrong? Ethan's expression remained neutral. Ran into someone I really dislike. As soon as he said it, my heart clenched. I lowered my head, not daring to meet his cold gaze. Lillian was surprised. Who? The man's voice was cold, somewhat unimportant. 10 minutes later, I was in Ethan's car, like an invisible person. I watched him and Lillian chatting and smiling in the front. They seemed to have endless topics, share connections, talking about this uncle's birthday, that classmate's wedding, all topics belonging to their world in that moment. The front and back seats felt like two separate worlds, unable to merge. Then, Lillian in the passenger seat noticed my silence and turned to me apologetically. Sorry, Sophia, I almost forgot you were here. I forced a smile, trying to appear normal. It's fine. You and Mr. Kiao go ahead and talk. Lillian sighed. Forget it. Ethan isn't much of a talker. As you can see, I say 10 sentences. He replies with one. It's exhausting. I'd rather chat with you. That was just Ethan's nature, quiet and reserved. If I hadn't been so thick-skinned, constantly following him back then, he wouldn't have reluctantly compromised and become friends with me. Remembering the past, I blinked back bitterness, but accidentally met Ethan's icy gaze in the rearview mirror. Startled, I quickly averted my eyes, lowering them. Perhaps because I was there, they didn't go for a romantic candlelit dinner instead. They casually picked a hot pot place by the roadside. Lillian ordered a split pot and began discussing her personal style and preferences with me. I quickly took out a pen and paper, carefully noting down her expectations and likes for the wedding dress. Right after that, I tactfully didn't stay to intrude on their world any longer. I stood up to leave. I should get going now. Lillian, Mr. Knight, enjoy your meal. Lillian sounded surprised. You haven't eaten much. Leaving already? Yeah, I'm not hungry. I'll head back. I have some ideas and want to sketch them out quickly. Hearing this, Lillian didn't press me to stay, urging me to capture the inspiration. I smiled and nodded again, then left quickly. As I left, I didn't dare look at the man beside her, but I could feel a cold gaze fixed on me the entire time, pressuring me, making it hard to breathe. That night, I started designing the wedding dress. Many of Lillian's preferences overlapped with mine. I had hundreds of finished designs like that in my mind. Designing it shouldn't have been difficult, but the pen in my hand refused to move, struggling late into the night. I hadn't put down a single stroke. I told myself this was work. I had to do it. After mentally preparing myself, I took a deep breath. Just as I started sketching a few lines, my phone on the desk rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Puzzled, I answered. The noise from what sounded like a bar immediately filled my ears. Someone yelled, "Hey, your boyfriend's drunk. Can you come get him?" My first thought was a wrong number. Hello? You have the wrong number. I don't have a boyfriend. I was about to hang up. The person got anxious. Don't hang up. Are you Sophia Wisdom? I paused. Yes. Then it's you. Sorry, his contacts only have your number. I thought you were his girlfriend. Miss, please, can you come take him away? He hasn't paid yet. I can't find any other numbers. The person pleaded persistently, seeming like a waiter helpless with a drunk customer who couldn't pay. I found it absurd, but worried it might really be a friend drunk at a bar left outside. After some thought, I decided to go check. Following the waiter's address, I quickly found the bar. Seeing Ethan slumped over the bar, I was utterly speechless with shock. Miss, thanks for coming. The waiter helped me carry Ethan out of the bar, then said earnestly, this guy is so great and you don't like him, take my advice. This guy looks successful and devoted. Don't let him drown his sorrows and drink anymore. Ethan, over 6 feet tall, was leaning all his weight on me, struggling to support him. I explained. He probably isn't drowning his sorrows. After all, he and Lillian seemed fine. The waiter gave me a meaningful look. Trust me, I've worked in bars for years. I know what kind of drink means what. Your friend here is clearly drinking the bitter wine of love. Seems like unrequited love, too. His words imply. Seemed to hint at the fact that I was the only contact in Ethan's phone. I was also confused about that, but I didn't say anything, just thanked him again with a nod. Taxis were plentiful outside the bar. I didn't know his home address and had no idea where to take him. I tried shaking him, hoping to sober him up a bit. Ethan, wake up, can you wake up a little? But no matter how much I shook him, the man showed no response. I thought about contacting Lillian Dodd as his girlfriend. Handing Ethan over to her was most appropriate, but I realized it was only my first day. Lillian and I hadn't exchanged contact info yet. Checking Ethan's phone, as the waiter said, it really only had my contact. The other call records were unclear, so I didn't dare call them randomly. Just as I was anxious and at a loss, the man I was supporting slowly opened his eyes, looked at me dazedly, and mumbled, Sophia. I'd seen Ethan's contrasting cuteness when eating extremely spicy food. His face red but refusing to stick out his tongue. I'd seen the smile that on his cold, handsome face when caught. But I'd never seen Ethan drunk. He opened his eyes, staring straight at me. His beautiful eyes held unmistakable, dazzling starlight, utterly captivating, siren. The word instantly came to mind, looking at my own nervous reflection in his pupils. My voice trembled. Ethan, are you awake right now? I didn't know why I was trembling. Maybe instinctive nervousness around my crush, or perhaps the overwhelming emotion swirling in his eyes made me shudder. My heart felt like it was about to leap out. No longer my own. Uneasy, I asked you. Did you drink something bad? Otherwise, why was his gaze so intense, so frightening? I instinctively felt scared, wanting to retreat, but Ethan suddenly pulled me into a tight embrace. It's really you, Sophia. I waited for you for 3 days. Why didn't you come? He was dead drunk, his speech slurred, carrying a hint of the grievance and resentment from his youth. Sophia, didn't we agree to share a secret after the Gaokao? Why did you forget? Do you know? I didn't have your home number, didn't know your address? I waited and waited like an idiot. But why didn't you come? Oh, right? You're a liar. You never cared about our promise. The suffocating embrace nearly stole my breath. Listening to Ethan's accusations, my tears fell uncontrollably. Deep down, he truly hated me, and drunk Ethan occasionally talked nonsense. But thankfully, his eyes were open, coaxing him like a child. He actually understood and recited his home address. I quickly hailed a taxi to take him home. Ethan lived alone in a large, spacious flat. Luckily, he remained somewhat awoke on the way back, knowing his building and floor. But when entering the passcode, he seemed to have forgotten it, unable to recall it no matter what. I grew anxious. Think hard. Muscle memory, enter the code to open the door, or we'll be sleeping outside tonight. But drunk Ethan seemed not to understand. He suddenly rubbed his temples, looking very unwell. I worried, thinking. I tried entering the passcode for him. His birthday. Error. The day he first got a scholarship. Error. The day he first participated in an international youth robotics competition. Error. The lock. Auto-locked after too many failed attempts, over and over. I entered every significant first in his life, all errors. If this continued, the lock might alarm the police. I was as anxious as an ant on a hop hand, turning to look at Ethan. He seemed uncomfortable from the drink, his eyes bloodshot, his breathing heavy and hot against my face. Worried he might fall, I supported him, nearly crying. Ethan, can you remember the code or not? If this goes on, we might both get taken in for questioning. Perhaps rested, he actually remembered the code. Then, using my hand for support, he raised his other hand and entered the password. His long fingers tapped the screen, accompanied by beeps. I saw his password. 95091. It was my birthday. Dazed, I helped Ethan inside. My mind was a mess. I never expected Ethan still used this password. In our youth, diaries were trendy. I bought two. A sneaky couple said one for me, one for Ethan. But he was impatient with things needing passwords, finding them bothersome to remember. Later, I changed the lock code to my birthday and shamelessly told him, if you find password protected, things annoying, just use this code for everything. It's my birthday. Later, he really did use that password for all his locks. Maybe force of habit. Even years later, his home door code was my birthday. I patted my cheeks, telling myself to calm down, not overthink. Ethan hated me. How could he keep my birthday as a memento? He must just find it troublesome, hence still using it. Comforted, I felt more normal. After getting the drunk Ethan to his bed, I planned to leave. But he grabbed my hand, pulling me towards him. The next moment, the world spun. When I realized what was happening, Ethan had pinned me beneath him on the bed. His face was close, our breaths so near they seemed to intertwine. Instantly, I tensed up, uneasily pushing against Ethan. Ethan, you, get off. Not only did he not move, his gaze grew darker, more intense, hiding dangerous signals. It was a desire I'd never seen in Ethan's eyes before, like a fire spreading from his pupils to the depths of mine. He lowered his head, his flushed lips gradually nearing mine, his breath heavy with want. If I couldn't tell what he intended now, I'd be a fool. Ethan and Lillian had been together since university, engaged next month. Adult relationships weren't platonic for that long. Some things happened naturally. I knew it was normal, but thinking about it, my heart still ached with bitterness. So, his skillful attempt to kiss me now, was he drunk, mistaking me for Lillian? Tears instantly streamed down my face, uncontrollable like rain. No, Ethan, no. The man covering me froze. Through the haze, I seemed to hear a soft sigh. In the end, the dreaded kiss didn't land. Ethan fell asleep. But before he did, he still held my hand tightly, not letting me leave. Helpless and feeling wronged, I curled up on his bed, silently crying until I drowsily fell asleep, not knowing when. The next morning, I was woken by the sound of the door opening. My eyes snapped open, meeting Ethan's clear gaze. He'd been watching me for who knows how long, not even blinking when I looked. But what shocked me wasn't the eye contact, but the footsteps coming from outside the bedroom. Ethan, are you up? I made breakfast, pumpkin porridge today, your favorite. I got up early to simmer it. It was Lillian, so they lived this close enough to have breakfast together daily. HMM? You're not up yet? Not hearing a response, Lillian walked straight towards the bedroom. The footsteps grew closer. I broke out in a cold sweat. Yet, the other person involved leaned on his elbow, watching me leisurely, as if enjoying my expression. I was amazed by his composure. Lowering my voice, I urged, tell her not to come in. He raised an eyebrow, having the audacity to ask, why? I was speechless. Why? Dude, your fiancée is at the door, and I'm in your bed. If she comes in, it's a catastrophe. I couldn't believe that Ethan of 6 years later had this perverted taste. But before I could protest, afraid Lillian would open the door any second, my mind went blank, and I slid under the covers. In the darkness, I couldn't see, but as I slid down, I accidentally touched something. The man groaned sharply, his whole body tensing. My eyes widened in shock, my face burning. Fortunately, Ethan wasn't completely without scruples. When Lillian knocked on the bedroom door, he timely said, I'll be right out, okay? Lillian paused for a few seconds outside before leaving. Ethan got out of bed, went to the bathroom for a quick rinse, and soon came out wrapped in a towel. I had just peeked out and unexpectedly saw his bare upper body, those breathtaking muscles. If not for someone outside, I might have screamed, biting my lip hard. My eyes widened, whether from shock or slowness. I forgot to look away immediately. Ethan went to the wardrobe to pick clothes, glancing at me. What? Wanna watch me change? I snapped back to reality, my face flushed, and ducked back under the covers. Maybe my thoughts were impure under the covers, surrounded by his scent. I felt as if Ethan was holding me. My face felt hot. There was rustling outside. Was he dressed yet? Stifling under there, I whispered, Ethan, are you done? No response. I peeked through a crack. The bedroom door was wide open, and the room was empty. Ethan was gone. He'd left the door open on purpose. Afraid of making noise, I didn't dare move, worried if I got up, I might be seen. I played dead, staying in bed, cracking a small opening for air. After what felt like an eternity, stifling and red-faced, the covers were suddenly thrown off. Fresh air rushed in. Gasping, I fanned my hot face. Ethan frowned. Are you an idiot? Staying under there? Weren't you afraid of suffocating? I glared at him. If he hadn't left the door open, would I have had to hide under the covers? Hearing no sound outside, I asked, is Lillian gone? Ethan nodded. I breathed a sigh of relief, scrambling out of bed. Ethan grabbed my wrist. Where to? Work. It's almost 8. I'll be late if I don't go. It was 7:30. I was familiar with the area and needed time to find the bus stop. New job. I didn't want to make a bad impression. Ethan's brow twitched. Going to work without breakfast? Then he shoved me into the bathroom. There were new toiletries in a drawer. Freshen up and come eat breakfast. Breakfast? The loving breakfast Lillian made for him? I thought Ethan was mad, but his expression was stern, hesitating, remembering his toned body. I wisely kept quiet. After a quick wash, I went to the dining area. It wasn't the leftover pumpkin porridge I expected, but a freshly made simple sandwich and a cup of soy milk. Surprised, I looked at Ethan. You made this? A flicker of awkwardness crossed his handsome face. Weren't you going to be late? Eat. Then I'll drive you to work. Oh. I responded softly and sat down to eat. The sandwich bread was slightly burnt, the egg half raw. With lettuce, the taste wasn't great. The soy milk was overly sweet, cloying. Eating it, my eyes reddened. Touched and greedy, I knew this was shameful. Like a mistress enjoying another's fiancé's preparation. But I couldn't let go of this obsession. I had no control over it. Why are you crying? Ethan noticed, frowning. Is it bad? Don't eat it then. He moved to take the sandwich. But I couldn't bear to waste it, stuffing it all in my mouth in one go. I even downed the overly sweet soy milk in one breath. Burping. Finished. Let's go. I didn't dare let Ethan drop me right at the company entrance. 500 meters away. I urged him to let me out. But he just glanced at me, stepped on the gas, and drove me straight to the company building. Colleagues were coming and going, terrified. I hesitated, afraid someone would recognize Ethan's car. Then, I'd have no way to explain. Can you drive a bit further? I'll get off there. I begged Ethan. But the Ethan of 6 years later was not cute. Further? No stopping on the main road. Want me to drive around and drop you back? You'll really be late then. No choice. Gritting my teeth, I opened the door and dashed out like a thief. I made it just in time, clocking in. I joined late yesterday and was out with Lillian, so today felt like my real first day. But my colleagues were friendly, having met them yesterday. As I sat down, one called out, Sophia, the director wants to see you. I paused auto, probably feeling guilty. My knock was weak. Come in. Lillian was as warm and cheerful as ever. Seeing me, she concernedly asked, Sophia, you look pale. Didn't sleep well last night? Working on the designs? Her concern made me feel even worse. No, it's not that. Lillian, seeing my reluctance, she didn't press, smiling as she asked about the design. You had inspiration yesterday? How much have you done? Can I see? I had sketched some last night but left it at home. Suddenly, I said, Lillian, let me explain the design concept I have in mind for you right now. Lillian was momentarily surprised, then very interested. So? All morning, I was in her office, explaining my ideas. Actually, Lillian, with her tall, sexy figure, wasn't suited for the sweet, puffy sleeve style she wanted. Instead, I believed a simple, fitted wedding dress would highlight her queenly aura. Plus, her usual work makeup was all domineering older sister with a queenly demeanor. I took a gamble, sharing my thoughts. Sure enough, a flicker of interest appeared in Lillian's eyes. But after 2 seconds, she refused. Sophia, I still want the style we discussed yesterday. I pressed my lips together and didn't say more. Okay, that evening, I called my mom, telling her not to wait for me for dinner, as I was working overtime. My mom grumbled. Dissatisfaction. What kind of company is this? Just started, had you up late last night. And now no dinner? To avoid worrying her, I didn't mention being away last night. I said I was outside seeking inspiration. Left early in the morning without waking her. She believed me. After all, I'd never stayed out all night before. She didn't suspect anything. Mom, it's fine, you eat. I'll be back soon. I said a few words and hung up, starting to work overtime on the designs. Wedding dresses were my forte. Lillian's preferred style was my specialty, but I wanted to incorporate elements that suited her. So I worked late, striving to merge her desires with what flattered her. Unknowingly, I had over a dozen sketches. None satisfactory. Frowning, realizing it was late, I packed all the drafts, planning to refine them at home. Leaving the building, the sky was already dark. From afar, I spotted a familiar car parked outside. A man leaned against the bonnet, looking casual, as if waiting. I pursed my lips, planning to slip past, but he called out to me, double quote, Sophia. This couldn't be ignored, steeling myself. I looked up with a forced smile. You? Waiting for Lillian. She's off work. Maybe call her. Yes. It was Ethan. Ethan looked at me deeply, then suddenly walked towards me. We need to talk. I didn't expect Ethan to drive me to our old school. At this hour, the campus gates were locked. The guards light off, the whole school silent after parking. Ethan suddenly headed towards the back wall, looking like he was preparing to scale it. I was shocked. What are you doing? He said. Don't you want to revisit old haunts? Revisiting could be done openly during the day. Besides, Ethan was always the model student. When had he ever climbed walls? As if reading my mind. Ethan smiled wryly. True. You were always the one climbing back then. I remember you often sneaked out to buy your own snacks. Mentioning the past, his laughing eyes held clear nostalgia. Yes, who wouldn't miss the carefree days of youth? Thinking that, I smiled too, looking up. I met Ethan's intense gaze. Burning with unconcealed emotion, my heart skipped a beat, and I quickly looked away somehow. Since last night, the atmosphere between Ethan and I had subtly changed, but this change startled and bewildered me. Luckily, Ethan didn't keep staring. He ran, vaulted onto the wall, and sat steadily atop it. Then he bent down, reaching a hand towards me. Come? Under the crescent moon, his face was unbelievably handsome. I looked up at him, feeling transported back to our youth. His smiling eyes held only warmth for me. Perhaps mesmerized by his smile, or driven by longing, I reached out and placed my hand in his. Ethan pulled me up effortlessly. Before I knew it, I was sitting opposite him on the wall. We were close, so close our breaths mingled, so close I thought he would kiss me. You. I suddenly pressed a hand between us, looking down. You jumped first, or me? Ethan straightened up slightly, glanced at me, then jumped down without a word, standing on the ground, arms open, he said. Don't be afraid, jump, I'll catch you. In my youth, I was always jumping around, falling often from climbing walls. Grown up, I had no reason to fear. I glared at him, ignoring his offered embrace. Who are you looking down on, then? Ignoring his startled look, I jumped onto the empty ground, landing hard on my bottom. I cried out in pain. Ethan sighed, coming over to help me up. Hurt? I subtly withdrew my hand, putting on a tough act, hopping a few times. This little thing, nothing. He looked at me but said nothing more. That night, we revisited every trace of our youth, peeking through classroom windows to find our old seats, sharing funny stories about studying at the library entrance. It was as if no misunderstandings or barriers existed between us, simply like old friends reminiscing about happy times. As we talked, Ethan suddenly looked at me. Sophia, last night, I wasn't so drunk that I don't remember anything. His words froze a smile on my face. I stared at him in shock, heart racing. So, he saw all the passcodes I tried last night. No wonder, back then, his eyes were bloodshot. Staring intently at me, I opened my mouth to explain, but found myself speechless. Ethan didn't seem to need my explanation. He started talking to himself. Before yesterday, I admit, I resented you, thought you were heartless, truly hateful. But today, I thought a lot, remembered our happy youth. How you always followed me, saying you liked me, not reserved at all for a girl. But you were so sincere back then. Speaking of the past, his eyes held a smile, but my heart was full of bitterness. Hearing this felt like a lifetime ago. Suddenly, he changed the subject, pointing outside the school. Sophia, actually, I came back every year. Right there, following his finger, I instantly saw the image of the drenched, thin boy waiting in the rain. My heart wrenched painfully. Every year, same time, I came once. Not sure if it was unwilling or obsession. I always felt you wouldn't intentionally stand me up, but every year, winning brought disappointment. All these years, I really disliked you, even hated you. Why play with me? Was all that past affection fake? Under the cold moon, Ethan spoke of the past with self-mockery. Shadows of leaves danced on his face like pale fragments, reflecting his broken disappointment. I looked at him, lips trembling uncontrollably, thousands of words stuck in my throat. Painful. I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm sorry, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know my absence had affected him so deeply, that he waited every year, hoping, only to be disappointed. How did he endure that cycle? I sobbed uncontrollably. Ethan wiped the tears from my face, murmuring softly, So, Sophia, can you tell me why you didn't come that day? The long-awaited explanation from youth seemed to arrive now. He wanted an answer. His eyes, bright and determined, looked at me with encouraging tenderness. In that moment, I understood. If this misunderstanding was cleared, my long-held wish might come true. I was the only contact in Ethan's phone, the unchanged password after all these years. Tonight's trip down memory lane, I wasn't stupid. I could see each of these was proof Ethan still had feelings for me, overwhelmed. I wanted to pour out the truth about that day. The reason returned, looking at the man whose eyes were full of me. I blinked back tears. What would explaining achieve? Be with him. But how could I be so selfish? He was engaged to Lillian. I opened my mouth, finally stepping back. I'm sorry, Ethan. The light in Ethan's eyes dimmed. So, your so-called liking back then was really just a joke? I couldn't answer. Turning, I ran away without looking back. I knew I was a coward. After that, I never saw Ethan again. Perhaps because of me. He stopped picking up Lillian, vanishing completely from my world. I didn't know how their relationship was, but mine and Lillian's friends. Hip grew rapidly. She valued me greatly. The one-week deadline arrived. I submitted the finished design as promised. But Lillian, usually so attentive, didn't even glance at it. She had changed into a stunning, sexy dress, raising an eyebrow at me. Sophia, come to the bar with me. I didn't refuse. She seemed in low spirits, drinking heavily, then heading to the dance floor to let loose. Her sexy, fiery attire quickly attracted male attention. Guys deliberately dancing close. Worried she'd be taken advantage of, I pushed through the crowd and pulled her back. Lillian was just getting excited. Sophia, why drag me back? I was having fun. Lillian, you're drunk. Should we head back? I asked, concerned. Her behavior tonight was different. She blinked, laughed. You're so well behaved. That sweet, obedient vibe. I just can't pull it off. I didn't understand. Puzzled. But Lillian didn't elaborate, downing one strong drink after another like water. Worried, I tried to stop her. Lillian, stop drinking. I'll take you home. Sophia, I saw you that day. She suddenly smiled, her words striking me. Before I could ask which day, she pointed at me, laughing at Ethan's place that morning, you in his bed. Instantly, I turned pale as a sheet, frozen like a mistress caught by the official partner. Shame and embarrassment washed over me. I stammered, Lillian, that day? Actually, But she laughed, telling me not to worry. Sophia, I had a relationship in university, coincidentally, with Ethan's roommate, a very cool guy. She started talking about her past love, surprising me that she and Ethan had such a history. Unlike Ethan's gentleness, this guy, TCH, was arrogant and cool. His words could infuriate you. Lillian's tone was grinding her teeth, as if mentioning her ex still angered her. We dated for 3 months. Oh, he pursued me. Then he was the one who broke up. Damn, after 3 months, he suddenly turns around and says he prefers good girl. Tell me, does he have crap for brains? This was the first time I heard Lillian swear, but it felt like her true, straightforward self. So, after that, you always tried to act more good girl? I remembered her changing into sweet outfits after work, sometimes deliberately softening her voice on calls, all influenced by that ex's betrayal, I felt. Sigh. But Lillian looked at me mysteriously. Yes and no. I was confused. She grinned, leaning in as if to share a secret. Sophia, let me tell you about Ethan. Before I could refuse, she was off recounting Ethan's university days. Ethan had someone in his heart. I could tell from the first day of university. He paid no mind to the girls around him. I'd just broken up, tired of my parents setting me up with suitable matches. So I deliberately approached Ethan. As if have a premonition, I guessed what was coming. Holding my breath, she glanced at me, smiling. Right, as you thought. Ethan and I were fake from the start. We're from similar backgrounds. Dating me would satisfy my family. More importantly, I did it on purpose. Wanted to get back at my ex by getting with his best friend right in front of him. As for Ethan, his reasons were simpler. Use me to ward off other girls and help a friend. That's it. So, that was the truth in that moment. My long dormant heart felt like it was beating strongly again. I trembled all over, at a loss what to do. But aren't you getting engaged next month? Is that fake too? Lillian drank, her usual smile fading into bitterness. No, Sophia. I started taking it seriously. Her words hit me like a bucket of cold water, instantly sobering me up. So, in this arrangement, Lillian had developed real feelings. Before the families discussed the engagement, Ethan talked to me. Thought it was time to break up. But I begged him to wait, used every means to get him to agree not to reveal the truth before the engagement. Sophia, you know, a man like Ethan, it's hard not to fall for him. After our fake relationship, I found myself drawn to him, even thought, since he's so good, why not just spend a lifetime with him? I tried to cater to his preferences. I knew he had someone in his heart. I thought, since she hadn't appeared all these years, maybe I could replace her. But later, when you and he met in my office, I knew. It was you. You appeared. You don't know, after you left that day. He brought up breaking up again at the hop-hop place. This time, his attitude was firmer than ever. I tried to let go, but found I couldn't. My selfish desire wanted to keep him for myself. But a week ago, he called off the engagement preparations, informed my parents about the breakup without consulting me. He still spared me dignity, didn't reveal our fake relationship, just said he didn't love me anymore, bearing the pressure from both families alone. Lillian spoke intermittently, drinking occasionally, the alcohol making her eyes red, seeing my pained expression. Her smile turned cool. What? You think I'm pitiful? I shook my head. No. She seemed interested. How so? I thought, then answered honestly. Lillian, you're just unwilling to accept, don't believe in your own charm to keep a man. So you stubbornly want to marry Ethan. Simply put, Lillian never got over her ex's betrayal, even doubting herself. Her way of proving herself was to keep Ethan. As if I'd hit a nerve, Lillian's face showed annoyance. She cursed, you're really annoying. Get lost. I don't want to see you. I was worried. Let me take you home. She looked at me with a half-smile. Take me home, Sophia. Do you know what time it is? I found her smile odd. 10 p.m. Oh? She drew out the sound, looking triumphant. One more thing. Ethan's flight to Europe is at 23 o'clock tonight. If nothing goes wrong, he probably won't be coming back. Her words shocked me. How? Lillian shrugged. Why not? Seems he's heartbroken, doesn't want to stay in this place of sorrow. I immediately took out my phone to call Ethan, but the response was a shutdown prompt. My face instantly turned pale, and I stood up reflexively. Lillian mocked my panic. What? Going to take me home now? Let's go. I was anxious like an ant on a hot pan, gripping my phone tightly. But Lillian stopped teasing me, signed double quotes, go after him. I heard you let him down 6 years ago. Don't let him leave hurt again this time. Tears welled in my eyes. I turned to run, but remembering something, I looked back anxiously at Lillian, still drinking. Lillian. You? Seeing my hesitation, Lillian laughed, waving her hand. Don't worry. My driver is coming soon. Sophia, I can't selflessly hand Ethan to you. Whether you catch him is up to you. I didn't hesitate further, rushing out madly, hailing a taxi, even knowing Ethan's phone was off. I kept calling desperately, answer the phone, turn it on, answer. The taxi driver, seeing my state, sped towards the airport, but I was still too late. I reached the airport at exactly 23 o'clock. The airport hall echoed with announcements of departures. Each one, cold and loud, like ice picks stabbing my heart, causing sharp pain. Tears in my eyes, I felt all strength drain, collapsing to the floor, sobbing. My phone screen was still on, showing the messages I'd sent. I couldn't get through. Praying Ethan would turn on his phone before leaving. Maybe he'd see them. But things didn't go my way. I ultimately let him leave disappointed. That wonderful Ethan, because of me, chose to leave his homeland. In that moment, I hated myself. Hugging my knees, I couldn't hold back, crying hoarsely in despair. Passing travelers came and went, thinking I was just another person unable to bear separation. Not lingering, but one set of footsteps stopped behind me, not leaving. Sophia, your crying is awful. A low Hoarse voice sounded. I froze, thinking I was hallucinating. Not moving, the person behind me prompted, "Turn around." Mechanically, I turned. There stood the man who should have been on a plane to Europe, smiling at me. I stopped breathing. I quickly wiped my tears, afraid it was an illusion. He raised an eyebrow, amused. "You still cry like a dirty, messy kitten." Unable to bear the emotional roller coaster, I rushed to him in disbelief. "Ethan, Ethan." I shouted his name, sobbing and hiccuping, as if about to suffocate. But I couldn't stop, as if only this could confirm he was real. Ethan's eyes held a sigh. He shook his head, reached out and pressed my head against his chest, letting me hear his clear, strong heartbeat. "Sophia, does this confirm I'm real?" He always remembered all my little habits. Unable to contain my emotions any longer, I wrapped my arms around him tightly. Ethan stiffened for a moment, then, as if wanting to crush me into his bones, tightened his embrace. We were both uncomfortable, but neither wanted to let go. People came and went around us, but in that moment, our world paused. All senses focused on each other. "Sophia, I'm glad you came this time." Ethan's voice was choked. I stammered, "I'm sorry. It's my fault, disappointing you again and again." He cut me off. "I don't want to hear apologies." In that moment, I understood what he wanted to hear. My eyes were red, my face was red. I looked up seriously at the handsome man before me, stood on my toes and did what I'd always wanted to do. As my lips lightly touched his, I said, "Ethan, I love you," just as I was about to pull away. His hand pressed against the back of my head, deepening the kiss passionately. After what felt like an eternity, when I felt I might suffocate, Ethan mercifully released my lips. Lust hadn't faded. The corners of his eyes were red, dangerously seductive. Ethan rested his forehead against mine, asking, "Is this still empty words this time?" Dazed from the kiss, hearing the threat in his tone, I shook my head pitifully. No, it was never empty words. Loving him had always been serious, and thank you, Ethan, for always being willing to wait for me. When I held Ethan's hand and appeared before my mom again, she was shocked. "You too, Auntie. I'm Sophia's boyfriend, Ethan." As if redefining our relationship, Ethan introduced himself to my mom again, smiling warmly and politely. Last time, it was fake. This time, it was real. I looked into his eyes, smiling happily. My mom's gaze shifted between us, seeming confused. Though she always wanted me to marry well, and Ethan was her ideal son-in-law. After the company incident and my breakdown, she was still apprehensive, frowning. She pulled me aside. "Sophia, are you sure? Last time he hurt you so deeply, and you still want to continue?" Hearing this, I glanced at Ethan waiting obediently and smiled. "Mom, from beginning to end, the one who was hurt wasn't me. It was him." My mom's expression was utterly speechless, but she didn't say much deep down. She still wanted my happiness. Then, she politely hosted Ethan. She started questioning him about his family background, his life experiences. Hearing that Ethan had been my classmate from primary through high school, understanding dawned in her eyes. So it's you? I should have known it was you." Ethan was confused. My mom sighed. This child, Sophia, was mischievous as a kid, not cut out for studying. But one day, she suddenly got serious, studying hard, saying she wanted to get into a good school. Middle school, high school. Every year before entrance exams, she pushed herself crazily, ranking high. Later, her dad and I discovered a secret. From primary to high school, there was always the same boy's name in her class. After questioning her, she confessed, saying the boy was good looking. She wanted to be his classmate. A young girl, so shameless. But we thought it was just her liking to be classmates with handsome people. Never thought she'd be so stubborn, hiding her feelings so deep. Time had passed, she forgot the name but remembered the story. Ethan, clearly unaware, looked at me in surprise, embarrassed at having my secret exposed. I said, "Mom, stop." She laughed and didn't continue. She went to the kitchen to prepare dishes. Ethan suddenly held my hand, whispering, "I'm sorry." I was puzzled, not understanding why. His eyes were full of self-blame. "Sophia, I didn't know you were always trying to follow in my footsteps behind my back." Honestly, it was awkward. He only knew we were high school classmates. I never mentioned earlier years, feeling it unnecessary and my damn pride. I smiled dismissively. "It's all in the past, and because I followed you, I got into good schools." Mentioning this, we both thought of the Gaokao incident. He hesitated to speak, but didn't press, as if giving me patience, respecting my secret. Yes, I still hadn't told him about standing him up 6 years ago. After dinner, I asked Ethan to take me to our old school again. Perhaps sensing I had something to say, he stayed quiet, holding my hand tightly. I smiled, pointing to where we stood. "Ethan, the 5th night after the Gaokao. I stood right here." He froze, breath catching. "So? You came and saw me get in the car and leave. But why? Why didn't you call me?" He quickly recalled that night, confused, thinking if I had called out then, we wouldn't have missed 6 years. Everything would be different. I smiled bitterly. "Ethan, I didn't intentionally stand you up. On Gaokao Day, my dad had a car accident. I was distraught, rushed to the hospital. In that moment, I completely forgot our promise, only thinking of my dad's condition. But he still passed away on the 5th day in the hospital. It was raining heavily that day. Heartbroken, I ran madly from the hospital, somehow ending up at school, seeing you. Then I remembered our promise, Ethan. I admit I was cowardly then. I saw you get into that expensive car. Heard you say you hated me. I was scared, didn't know how to face it. Could only watch you drive away, completely disappearing. Stop. Ethan held me, not letting me continue. His hands trembled slightly, as if never expecting I had also suffered despair that day. I'm sorry, Sophia. I was speaking out of turn. I thought you were playing with me. He apologized, voice full of regret. I smiled softly. Yeah, I know. We held each other in the night for a long time, as if using warm, fervent heartbeats to soothe the pain and regrets of the past. The same place, 6 years later. Our long overdue promise finally reached its proper conclusion.